So, namaste, good evening, and good morning, everyone, from wherever you are watching us. I am your moderator for this session, Vivek Dostapa, Program Coordinator and Research Associate at NICE. Before we start, I would like to quickly introduce NICE. NICE is an independent, apolitical, and non-partisan think tank based in Nepal, which believes in freedom, democracy, and a world free from conflict. I would like to welcome you to a very special session of our Tech in IR series. For this series, we will be doing a conversation with the author of AI First Nation. For this very special session, it is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Lawrence Liu, a visionary AI leader and one of the most influential figures in shaping Singapore's national AI ecosystem. He is the director of AI innovation at AI Singapore. Mr. Liu has been at the forefront of transformative initiatives that are driving Singapore's ambition to become an AI first nation. With over 30 years of experience in technology and innovation leadership, he has architected he has architected some of Singapore's most impactful national programs, including the 100 Experiments Initiative, which acts as a bridge between academic AI research with real-world industry needs, the award-winning AI apprenticeship program, now the country's flagship AI talent development pathway, and Learn AI, which has introduced AI to over 200,000 Singaporeans across diverse sectors. On the global stage, Mr. Liu serves as co-chair of the Innovation and Commercialization Working Group of the Global Partnership on AI, or also known as GPAI, where he champions the adoption of AI by small and medium-sized enterprises around the world. His leadership has inspired other nations to adopt AI Singapore's framework through AIAP Acts initiative. Before joining AI Singapore, Mr. Liu held senior leadership roles in prominent technology firms, including as general manager at Revolution Analytics, which was later acquired by Microsoft. His deep expertise spans high performance computing, open source ecosystems, and enterprise AI solutions. He is also the author of the book that we are going to be discussing today, AI First Nation, a blueprint for policymakers and organization leaders, a highly regarded guide for national and organizational AI transformation. So please join me in welcoming Mr. Lawrence Liu, a pioneer whose work is shaping the future of AI both in Singapore and globally. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence here today, sir. I would like to request you to make your remarks, and then we will follow up with question and answers. In the meantime, whatever questions the participants may have, please drop them below in the chat box. I would like to hand over the floor to you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thanks, everyone, for attending this, and really appreciate NICE Nepal for inviting me to come and share the AI Singapore story and talk about my book. So my name is Lawrence. I'm director for AI innovation here in AI Singapore, and I guess for the first 20 minutes or so, I'll share a little bit about AI Singapore and actually how this whole book came about. So before I go into some of AI Singapore programs, right? As my role in AI Singapore is to promote the use of AI, and I always believe that you must walk the talk. You cannot just talk and say, "Hey, please use AI." But if let's say you yourself is not using AI, then what is real, right? So I've been in the technology field for many years, and the last 8 years with AI Singapore. And about a year ago, we had so much experience building various programs to help drive AI adoption in AI Singapore. And today Singapore is ranked highly globally for innovative use of AI, for its AI research, for the governance side of AI, and a couple of other things. I thought it was timely to actually also record down some of the things that we have been doing, and it was timely that at that time large language models became available. And I thought, hey, why don't I try to work with a large language model to basically write this book? Now, many would think, oh, okay, so Lawrence just asked LM to generate the book. No, it wasn't done this way. In fact, that would not be fair, right? So what I did was I took slides like this that I'm presenting to you. I narrated I went through like my usual narration of the slides where it basically recorded my voice and created the text from it. I fed the LM many other notes that I have about our programs, copy and pasted our website information in, and basically got it to basically work with me to craft out a table of content. That was what I did initially. And I told the LM I wanted this book to be for policymakers, for organization leaders. You have to be very specific. Then the table of content became meant for those target audience. And what I did after the table of content was generated, and after all my edits, I was happy with the layout and the flow, I then asked the LM to be a biographer. And I basically say, you are my biographer. Please review the table of content. And for each of the section, please ask me 2 to 3 probing questions about that section. And I started having a conversation with the LM. And I basically spent like 7 or 8 afternoons, 30, 40 minutes each time, narrating and answering the questions that was asked. I mean, I didn't have to type it out because a lot of the LMs today can do voice to text. So I basically just narrated. So the book is really an outcome of my narration over several afternoons. And then the LM obviously helped clean it up a little bit, remove all my slang and so on. And I got basically the first draft done in 4 to 6 weeks. And then I spent another 6 weeks figuring out how to publish the book. And that's it. I got this book published. So that's how this book came about, because I felt that as someone who, I need to convince people that AI can be a productivity tool. You can enhance and can give you so-called superpowers. I think it's very important that, myself, my team, we need to walk the talk. We need to use AI and show people, right, that it is real. So this book is one of the many real outcomes of AI. So very quickly about AI Singapore, right? We launched in May 2017, and I'm the first employee. I still wake up every morning highly energized because myself, my team, we believe in the mission that we are doing. And what's the mission? Is to help Singapore build deep capabilities in AI, create social economic impacts, grow the local talent, accelerate the AI ecosystem, and put Singapore on the world map. So I think we have done all of this and more. And in AI Singapore, there are 5 pillars or 5 departments. You can think of that. So I have my colleagues in AI research that fund professors in the local universities to do their research, to get papers published in top-tier journals. I have my colleague in AI technology that, again, work very closely with the research ecosystem to help them create impactful solutions at a national level through challenge statements, challenges, price challenge, and so on. And myself, I'm in AI innovation, and I'll talk more about my programs. AI products, which I used to run, it's about creating useful AI solutions for the world. And in fact, we were probably one of the first government-funded program in Singapore that basically released what we were building 100% open source. So in AI products today, whatever we are building is released under a very friendly open source license. And AI governance, the 5th pillar, focuses on thought leaderships around and research in AI ethics, governance, and so on. So over the last 8 years, right, we have deployed helped companies build and deploy more than 300 AI solutions and products across many, many sectors. I think in Singapore, my team probably has one of the most number of real-world AI projects under our belt. We have projects, going from maritime all the way to a lot in healthcare, a couple in finance, environment. We help companies who, whether they are startups, SMEs, even MNCs and government agencies. So this is a quick snapshot of the number of projects that we've done across multiple sectors. Now, this is again a very small handful of those customers that were so happy with what we delivered that they agreed to be featured and make known that they are actually using AI, because a lot of companies actually use AI, but they don't want to be public about it for fear of a competitor. So we have, for example, the dental chart, QNM. They came to us, I think 2018, and basically they had the idea to use AI to analyze the X-ray to basically help the dentist determine what are the issues with the teeth. So it used to take a dentist anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes to actually analyze, to look at the X-ray and then go back to the patient. But today, the dentist can go back to the patient within a minute or two. So as a patient, I'm sure all of us have sat in a dentist chair before. You don't want to sit too long in a dentist chair. You want to get out of the dentist chair. So with this, the dentist can basically go back to the patient faster, have a good discussion on what's the treatment and so on and so forth. We have helped other SMEs like UParcel for same day to optimize their delivery routes. We have done for our civil defense force for speech to text. We have done a lot of healthcare projects, a lot of radiology projects, obviously. We have done for large financial organizations like GIC here, where we analyze hundreds of reports that they get every day, and then which they need to analyze and figure out whether it will impact their investment. And before the AI solution came in, the analysts had to read a lot of reports. But with the AI system, the analyst only needs to focus those that are really relevant and important to them. And for MNCs that are based in Singapore, we also help them. We have built fraud detection system. We have built risk management system. We have built QA systems for folks like Continental and so on and so forth. So all these are real-world projects that we deliver within 3 to 7 months. And what is unique about this compared to other programs is that, in a lot of universities and government programs, there are researchers or students building projects, right, for the industry. But usually this is done on a part-time basis, and the researcher may have multiple projects, including needing to publish a paper and so on. Or if it's a government program, they will give the money to the company. The company will then hire someone to go and build the solution for him. And the company that's building the solution for the project owner may not even necessarily be from within the country. So you actually lose the technical skills in that sense. So in our 100 experiment, this is a program, it's called 100 experiments. The intent is to use the project as a good training ground to train more, in our case, Singaporeans, to become AI engineers. So when we discuss with the project sponsors on the project, they have to come with a real-world business problem. We'll evaluate that. They have to come with data sets. They have to come with manpower meaning the domain experts, the IT engineers who can collaborate with us. And if we approve the project, AI Singapore will contribute $150,000 of in-kind resources, and the company must match this $150,000 also, 30% cash, 70% in kind. And the key thing, and that's one of the big unique things, is that unlike a lot of research institutes or universities, the company actually owns the IP, right? And when the project gets approved and gets started, we will assemble a team of AI engineer, one AI mentor, and 3 to 6 or 4 to 6 apprentices that will be dedicated full-time to work on the project. And these apprentices are not students, they are working adults. Some of them are fresh graduates, some of them would have a couple of years of experience, some of them will have 20 years of experience. But the key is that they all are highly passionate. A lot of them are self-taught AI ML engineers or Python developers. A lot of them are self-taught. And all of them have to quit their jobs to come into the program. So for 9 months, they basically have no salary. They will work full-time in our office to deepen their skills in AI and work on the project. But during these 9 months, obviously, we also give them a small stipend, anywhere from $3,500 to $5,500 a month. So what is unique, and I think this may surprise the audience here, is that to build good AI solutions does not mean that you have to have a STEM background, does not mean that you need to have a computing degree or engineering degree. Our profile of apprentice comes from all walks of life. We have about 20% who have a computer science degree. A lot of them would be the older professionals who have left school many years ago, did not study AI back then, and therefore now is super interested in it. And then another 30% are engineers. Mechanical engineers, industrial system engineers, bio engineering engineers, and so on. And then we have, quite a number of teachers coming from physics and maths background. We have people from the arts and social science. We have accountants, we have CFOs, we have lawyers who actually quit their jobs to come into our program. So a very, very good mix. And in fact, it is because of this mix that our program is so successful, because the solutions that we have been able to deliver, it is not just about a fantastic algorithm, but because of the cross-domain teams that we form, the solutions that we deliver are often also very, very innovative. And after running this program for 20, we are batch 19 in office today. We are in the midst of onboarding batch 20. So after 8 years, we have trained about 400 over Singaporeans. And every cohort, we have probably anywhere from 200 to 400 applicants, but less than 10% will get accepted. Okay, so it's not easy to get into the program because there's a technical assessment. They have to pass a technical assessment, and then they have to actually have a good, they can fit into our culture. And you can see, a bit hard to see, but you in terms of our culture, but you see the pictures there. We hothouse all the apprentices in our office for 9 months. They don't go to work in the project sponsor's office because we want them to work side by side with everyone else who are like them, who have quit their jobs to come in, who are highly passionate, highly driven, and are all very keen, right, and passionate to get into this AI space. And all of them, one other trait that we select is also that they are all very open to share. This is something that we actually look for when we are doing the interview process. How open are they to share their knowledge and interact with other people? So this is really how we do the apprenticeship program and the 100E. And now, when I first started AI Singapore, my only KPI was to do 100 projects. But I needed to create the apprenticeship program because, like any other companies or organizations, it's so hard to find AI engineers. So my gut feel back then was that there were enough Singaporeans who are self-learning, self-taught, but they can't find and can't find a job or can't find a company who's willing to help to hire them, even when they have the skills. Self-taught, no doubt. Because if you have a AI degree or computing science degree, AI, you get hired. That's not a question. But if you are a engineer, you are physics, you are a mathematician, or you are accountant, and you self-taught yourself AI, even if you know how to do AI, it's very, very hard to find a job. No company will give you that opportunity. But the apprenticeship program was designed specifically to give these people the opportunity, these people who have the skills but do not have a real-world project under their belt, to actually get that real-world experience. And at the end of 9 months, they can rejoin the industry with deeper knowledge and with a real project that they have completed. So over the 8 years, right, the 400 over apprentice, nearly every one of them is in an AI role today. We have the highest placement rate and retention rate of graduates in the AI field. So that's the apprenticeship program. But as I mentioned earlier, we have to walk the talk. We all use AI in our work. We build AI systems for customers, but we also build AI systems for ourselves. And we also use AI to solve our own problem. So what is one of the biggest problems and challenges that we have? Like I mentioned, I may get 400 applicants for my program, but less than 10% pass. Why? So the answer is quite simple. A lot of the existing training programs out there are too academic in nature. They train you to build a model within a Jupyter notebook, and that's it. Right? It's all about learning how to build a model. Very little on data cleaning, very little on understanding the problem, and hardly any deployment. So we needed to create our own training program to fix this problem. But we felt that a traditional, recording of a video, lectures, and then assignment is just not going to cut it. We want to replicate exactly what we have in terms of our AI AP. So we basically use agents, AI agents, and we replicated our AI mentor. We replicated our AI consultants. We replicated our AI project managers. So what happens is that the learner, when he or she comes on this platform, will learn the first 3 months. It's all part-time. This one, they don't need to quit their jobs. The AI mentor will be guiding the person along, prompting the person to complete the assignment. The mentor will not give the answer. That's exactly what we do. We never give answers even to apprentice in our office. When an apprentice asks a question, the response is, okay, good question. Why don't you think about this? Why don't you think about that? It's always probing the learner to learn on his or her own. So after they have finished the foundational course, right, the next one is project. Where do you get a real project? So I've never believed in a Kaggle-like project where I prepare all the data sets and you just go and build the model that is the most accurate. That's not real world. But neither can I take any of our real projects to put onto this platform. So we did the next best thing. We basically have the consultant agent that will have a discussion with the learner to basically say, hey, what is it that you want to solve? What are the challenges that you face at home, or what is there a special project that you're interested in? So the learner will have a discussion with the consultant agent. The consultant agent and the learner will basically scope out the project, and then we will generate a synthetic data set, which the project manager agent will then come in and then craft out 6 sprints and take the learner through 6 sprints. Hopefully the person can complete it in 3 months on a part-time basis. So really, we are trying to replicate what we have in our office through exposure of really understanding, building out a scope of work, working on synthetic data, but even synthetic data generated are not perfect, which is fine. Then the learner has to go and fix those problems. And then, using tools like Visual Studio Code to code out, submit to Git, and so on and so forth, right? So it's not just within a Jupyter Notebook. So we are trying to fix the problem of, so the AIP was to fix the problem of not having enough engineers for our real world projects in our office. The AIAP Foundation Agentic Learning Platform is to fix the fact that we do not have enough people passing our technical assessment, right, to get into our apprenticeship program. So every time I encounter a problem, we have to create a solution to fix it. And we have to be very creative about it. Even this one, the AI Readiness Index that is adopted by OECD and several other countries, was created because I needed to solve another different problem. And the problem to solve was that we had a lot of requests coming to us, but as a government-funded program, I can't really say no to a customer. I don't want to meet you because you're a very small customer. It's not fair. But so we needed a better way to gauge how can we have a discussion with customers at scale. So the AI Readiness Index really was very simple, 12 questions. Anyone can complete this in like 10 to 15 minutes. And once completed, we will know where the person's or the person's organization's AI maturity is. And with that, we know that, oh, if this person is AI ready, yes, let's have a discussion about a 100E project. But if the person is, or the organization is AI unaware, then they are very far from being able to do any AI projects. Then they say, okay, let's have a discussion. Let's please go and do this free course called AI for Everyone online. Please go and learn about AI first. So this sort of approach allow us to meet the needs of a wider range of customers and potential customers, right? Because those who are AI unaware today, eventually they'll become AI aware, and some of them will become AI ready in the future, and they will become our potential future customers. So it's a way to help organizations move up their AI maturity also. So this index is released under a commons license. So anyone free, just drop us a note if you're interested. We are happy to share this with you. It's not a problem. And this again is a set of resources, training courses that we have built over the last 8 years, and not one of this was in the original AI Singapore proposal or paper. We created AI for Everyone again to solve a problem that we had back in 2017, 2018, was because people were afraid of AI. They were afraid of losing their jobs. And if people were afraid to do AI, that means I will not be able to meet my KPI. I will not be able to do 100E projects with them. So I needed to demystify AI and convince them that it is safe, is responsible to do AI, come and do AI with us. So it was created really to solve my own, to meet my KPI. But to get people to come and listen to me to talk about my programs, I needed to give something back. So doing it in the form of a course to teach them, they get to learn what is AI, but at the same time, I obviously also get to sell my programs to them. And along the way, we created other programs like AI for Kids, AI for Students. A lot of them were done because we ourselves are parents and we have kids. And we wanted them to get access to good qualified materials. So with that, I will stop here, and I'll be happy to answer any questions about our programs and our books and have a conversation. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir. It was a very insightful presentation, I guess. And I found it really interesting how your work in AI talent development developed something as your personal endeavor, which has a trickle-down effect over the whole country. I wanted to ask if this, like, since a lot of us are not from Singapore, I wanted to ask if you have any sort of apprenticeship programs, or are you planning to do expansion for other countries?
Yeah, so we have what we call AIPX, where we are happy to share our programs with other countries. So there are countries that have come to talk to us, countries that have licensed our program. And in fact, the very first country was actually Egypt, I think way back in 2021. So we actually, taught them how to run 100 experiments, how to run our AIP programs, and so on. So yes, we share our programs with everyone. It's just too expensive to basically take our foreign friends into Singapore to become an apprentice, because it's very expensive to train. So and I don't want to do that because it's, again, right, it's not scalable. How many can I train, right? My office space is only so big. I only have so many engineers. What is more scalable, and which, the approach I believe is the right approach, is to train the trainer. I rather train Nepal. I would like to train Manila to be able to replicate our program so that they can grow their own AI engineers, right? Build their own apprenticeship program and grow their own local talents. Because sending to me for training does not make sense. It's just not scalable. And I rather teach you how to do it so that you can then execute the programs in your country.
Thank you, sir. I think that's the way to go. You have to teach a man how to fish rather than give the fish to them. The first question I would like to take from the floor is the AI Readiness Index, AIRI, is introduced as a tool to assess an organization's preparedness for AI integration. What key indicators determine institutions' AI readiness, and how have these indicators aligned with the performance and success of programs like Singapore's 100 E's?
So there are 12 questions in this. We split into 5 pillars. There are 12 questions. And all these 12 questions are based on real world experience when we were talking to customers, doing projects for customers. And we realized that, hey, we never asked customer this question, therefore we are now in this problem. So an example would be, most companies or countries would think, okay, I want to, build an AI capability. Let's go and train as many engineers and PhDs, or go and hire as many engineers and PhDs as possible. Yes, that is important. But to have a project that is successful within an organization, you need AI literacy. You need everyone in the organization to be AI literate. Because if not, if management will just introduce an AI solution into the organization, there will be pushback because people are fearful of losing their jobs. Unless they are AI literate, then they'll say, okay, AI is here to help me. If not, their thinking will be, oh, when am I going to get fired? So AI literacy is super important, and we learned this very, very early on in, I think, one of our projects in 2018, when we were deploying AI for a dialysis clinic. And we had, management, the doctors all wanted to work with us. They wanted to bring the solution. It was really to predict when a dialysis patient may end up in the hospital in the following week because of complications from dialysis. But we had a lot of resistance from the nurses. The nurses was afraid that they will lose their job. So it ended up that we had to spend a lot of time educating the nurses about AI, explain to them that, you're not going to lose your job. AI cannot replace you. What the system will do is to give you an additional data point to let you make a more informed decision, whether to red flag this patient as a high potential of landing up in hospital the following week. And obviously we had to buy a lot of tea breaks for the nurses also. So it's about, getting people comfortable with AI. I think that is something that a lot of organizations overlook when they think of bringing AI to their organizations. So AI literacy, so that's within the organization readiness. Others would be things like business value readiness. So one of the things that we evaluate when companies come to talk to us about AI projects, as part of our approval process, we will always ask for the ROI. Why should I be spending $150,000 of Singapore taxpayers' money to help you in your project? What is the ROI to you, which indirectly will also be a net gain for Singapore, because you make lots of money, you pay tax, and therefore you are indirectly funding our program. So we ask for the ROI. So for 150,000, typical ROI I would expect would be at least 3 to 5 times. You can convince us you can do 10x, even better, right? But if I put in 150,000, if I'm not going to see 500K back, what's the point? Okay, so ROI is very important. And for a specific use case, in some countries or in some organizations, there's no ROI. In some other organizations, there will be ROI. So it really depends on the use case and how the policies, the processes within the organization. So business value. We also want to rule out those projects which the CEO or the boss wants to do because he just want to wave a flag to say that, oh, I did an AI project with AI Singapore, but there's no ROI, right? So we have to be very careful about that. The others are like data readiness. I think that one is very clear to most people. You can't really do AI projects if you don't have good, clean data. But infrastructure readiness was something that was very new to a lot of people. We introduced the AI Readiness Index, I think, in late 2019. So even before ChatGPT and all this craziness about GPUs, and we already knew that having a proper infrastructure, hardware, software, and team was just as important as having a good AI model or an AI researcher. And a lot of organizations actually fail on infrastructure readiness. They do not have GPUs. They don't have ML ops developers who could actually put the model into production, and so on and so forth, right? So these are the 12 questions that we asked.
Shall we move to the next question, sir?
Sure.
Okay, so the next question is, your book uses Singapore as a real-world example for AI capability development. What are practical steps a developing country like Nepal could take to initiate an AI-first transformation despite its resource constraints?
I mean, in Singapore, I mean, we are fortunate that we have resources in terms of money to actually spend on putting together a program like AI Singapore and so on. For a smaller country, a more resource constrained country, I think it's not that you cannot do it, you still can, right? You just have to be very mindful about it. But I think ultimately it is how do you grow your own local talent? I think that's the key, right? If you don't have your own local talent, you are just going to keep paying expensive consultants to come in and do, and they make all the money and then they leave, and that's it, right? What you have is just an AI model. So I think it's super important that you invest in your own people to build the capabilities and the skills. And I say, AI Singapore, we are more than happy to do this knowledge transfer to our friends in Nepal and so on. So it's not a problem. Building that local talent, I think, is number one. And obviously, I think the other one is infrastructure may or may not necessarily be a challenge. I'm not familiar enough with your country. But again, right, not all AI solutions is Gen AI. Not all AI solutions require huge supercomputing clusters. There are in fact, I would say the first 6 years, 7 years of AI Singapore projects, right, were all of the classical AI, the traditional AI, anomaly detection, computer vision, analyzing text with traditional NLP algorithms. And all of them actually can generate a very, very high ROI. LLM is, yes, it's the flavor of the month, very popular. More than 50-60% of our projects today are all LLMs. But again, that is AI, but it's just one small part of the whole story, right? So I think it's important to look at what are some of the important use cases that Nepal needs to build to solve critical business problems or government processes that can be improved with AI, right? And very often they don't require supercomputers and so on. But they will always require the AI talent, the AI engineer.
Okay, thank you, sir. So the next question we would like to ask is, your book is titled AI First Nation, a blueprint for policymakers and organizational leaders. So what chose you to choose these two specific groups? And from your book, what would you see as the most urgent takeaway for each of these groups?
I'm not technical enough to write a AI a book, right? But I thought that the stories, the learnings behind what we have done, how we created. Why did we even have a program called the AI Apprenticeship Program when universities was already churning out AI graduates? Why is there still need for this? What's the background story to opening up the apprenticeship to anyone that have the skill and no need to even have a degree or a STEM degree or even any degree, right, for that matter. Because if we don't do it, who's going to do it? Who's going to take the lead to do it? Because the industry just say, oh, I want to have an AI engineer. This person must have a computer science degree, must have experience in AI. So it's a chicken and egg thing. So I needed to basically fry the egg. I basically say, based on skill, you have the skill, I will bring you in and train you and help you get a job, right? And I think we have shown that this whole idea of to do AI means you must have a computer science degree and so on is not necessarily true. And in fact, a lot of companies in the US for the longest time, right, even before the whole AI craze during the big data and data science era, already understood that, and they basically hire anyone with a skill that can analyze data. They didn't really care whether this person had a computer science or computing degree at all. There are many stories, and in fact, the person who created the LinkedIn algorithm of who should you be connected to and so on is not a computer scientist. The person was an oceanographer, right? He maps out how oceans move and so on and so forth. So it's basically whether this person have the skills to do it. Is not what degree this person chose to study when he or she was 18 years old. So we had a couple of things that we wanted that we needed to change the mindset, and therefore we experimented through our programs, and when we were successful, I thought we better document this down. And it was really just an exercise to see whether I could use a large language model to write a book. I've always wanted to write a book, and it could be done. So yeah, that's the story behind it. And why these two particular groups of people? Well, I mean, the programs, I mean, how we go about creating all this, it's really, I want to show the organization leaders, the policymakers that, we need to change how we do things. We need to think out of the box. There are a lot of, I mean, obviously, right, many governments, right, the way they are structured, and there are reasons for that. Yes, we have to follow protocols and so on, but sometimes it's a bit too rigid, And in this age of AI where everything is changing so fast, you have to be a bit more flexible. So there are a lot of programs like I've mentioned, right? The AI for Everyone, even the AI Readiness Index, even our AI APX were never officially approved projects when we started. We just went ahead to do it. And when it became successful, then we went to ask for official grant money to support it. Even when I remember, and I mentioned this in the book, when we started our AIPX, and when Egypt approached us and said, hey, can you train us? I said, okay, we're happy to train you. Let's explore. And we were questioned, why do we want to, it's not your KPI to train other countries. So I was thinking, how can I say no to Egypt? How can I say no to the ambassador who actually say, hey, Lawrence, can you help me? And so on, right? The same thing, right? If Nepal were to ask me, can I say no? You are a friend of Singapore. I mean, I have to do something. So we decided to just go ahead, and my response to my funding agency was very simple. And if we go back and look at the mission, you see, put Singapore on the world map. The original meaning of putting Singapore on the world map from the funding agency that funded AI Singapore was about publishing papers. Because we are funded by the National Research Foundation. So it's all about research. It's about putting Singapore on the world map through publishing in top-tier journals. But then I said, well, I'm putting Singapore on the world map. Other countries are coming to learn from us how to run AI programs at the national level. Well, they have nothing to say. So today they are happily, okay. Since there are so many other countries coming, please continue. So that's how I do it.
So the next question is related to your book and your authoring process. So while authoring AI First Nation, did you collaborate with any AI tools to accelerate your writing process? And in your opinion, what are the broader implications of human AI co-creation in intellectual or creative domains, and how might this reshape productivity and authorship in academia and policy making in the days to come?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, right, I created the book with the help of LLM. And in fact, the prompt that I use is actually in the preface of the book. So and like I say, I use a LLM to basically. So the first thing I did was really I upload all my notes. I narrated the AI Singapore story from voice to text, and I upload it into the LLM, ask it to ingest that, and then help me create a suitable table of content. And from then on, it's really narration. Well, I could have asked it to basically write the whole book on its own, but I felt that it wouldn't be something from me. So instead of doing that, basically, I just asked it to generate an initial table of content, which then I had to work on to make it into a flow that I was comfortable with. And then after that, like I say, I basically prompted and the whole prompt is actually online on the book website, and also in the book itself. And basically I say, hey, you are my biographer. Please, go through the table of content and ask me, 2 to 3 probing questions. And I basically narrated the whole story, like what I'm doing here now, right? I narrated the whole the answers, right, to whatever questions the LLM was coming back at me. And that's how I actually created the book, all right? So yes, I use the LLM to help me write the book, to accelerate the process. And I mean, typically people would take anywhere from the fastest would be what, maybe 9 months, a year to 2 years to actually write and publish a book. I did this in 3 months, right? I started in March of 2024, and I got it published, I think, by June of 2024. I had 2 publishers who wanted to publish my book, but they told me, oh, they can only publish it in January 2025. I said, too late, war over already, You're too slow, right? You better start to think of how to use AI. So I decided to just go ahead and self-publish it myself. And I had to figure out, edit the book. I actually paid someone to come in and go through the book to make sure I had, you know, all the whatever mistakes, grammar and so on is removed. So I still had a human to review that, and then figure out how to publish on Amazon, and basically got my own ISBN number and got it published on Amazon, right? So it was a fun process. I learned a lot. And one of the things on Amazon when you publish, right, and this goes to the generative AI, they actually ask you, do you use AI? And if yes, do you use AI to create the book, or do you use AI to assist you in creating the book? So mine is under assist. So I didn't use AI to create the book, it's to assist. So that's a distinction. Yeah, and I think today, you know, to me, AI is a tool, right? And if you are not using it, so in other sets of my presentations, if you look at, you know, future of work and so on, you're not going to lose your job to AI. You're actually probably going to lose your job, or your company is going to lose its business to another company that uses AI. Or if, let's say, an individual, you're going to lose your job to someone who's using AI, because that person is going to be 10x faster, 10x cheaper, and 10x more productive than you if you're not using. So AI is really a tool. I mean, think of it this way, right? Do you still do your financial calculations by hand on a piece of paper? You don't. People use a spreadsheet to do it, right? So AI is a tool to help you do certain things faster. A lot of times I get requests to you know to give a keynote, to speak and so on. You know, before the LLMs, I have to sit down and I have to figure out, well, should I spend the time preparing for this and what I'm going to talk about and so on and so forth. Today, I basically copy and paste the email request and put it into my LLM that I've configured to say, okay, you know, tell me what slides and how should I position it based on the AI Singapore story, based on what I have, to craft it a little bit more in tune with what the organizer wants me to talk about. And I can actually, you know, send back the agenda and what I'm going to talk about in less than 10 minutes back. Right. So I've been you know, using the right tools, I've become highly productive. And I encourage everyone to start using, if you are not already using AI tools, whether is it Microsoft Copilot, Google Gemini, or Anthropic Claude. Use it correctly. I think that's where you have to spend a bit of time to learn how to use it correctly. If you are not using it correctly, you're just you may be generating garbage, right? If you're not using it correctly. So learn how to use the tools. Yeah.
Thank you for the suggestion, sir. We have another question related to drafting of AI laws. The question is, many countries are drafting AI governance laws, such as the EU AI Act. Based on your experience, do you think regulation is keeping pace with innovation, or are we still fundamentally reactive?
I think regulation is always reactive, right? You do not know what you do not know, and innovations or AI in particular, right, is moving so fast that people would have not imagined the capabilities of deepfake. Now, not all countries are drafting national level AI laws. I think EU has a very broad-based one. I think US also have pockets of it. But you know, if you look at countries like Singapore, China, there are some regulations, but it's not so broad-based. It's very specific use cases. So, for example, in Singapore, as far as I know, I'm not in the government. I'm not sure whether they will or will not. But as far as I know, there are no EU AI, those broad-based regulations that will be coming on stream. But Singapore do have regulations around AI. Back in 2019, they actually had a regulation around the use of internet data for training. right? Basically, they say, yes, you are allowed to use internet data for training, and whoever put up the data on the internet, whatever T's and C's they say that you cannot use the data is irrelevant. Just go ahead and use it as long as it's for a research purpose and so on and so forth. Again, this was done discussed in 2017 probably, and finally became a regulation in 2019, and it predated ChatGPT, which obviously today is a totally different beast, right? And recently, because of the Singapore elections, we also introduced a new regulations in terms of use of deepfake for political figures. But generally, most countries actually already have rules and regulations in regulated industries, in healthcare, finance, and so on. So in those, actually, it is it is sufficient. For example, let's say if in Singapore, obviously we are a financial center, we already have regulations around that. Oh, you're going to provide advisory services. Yeah, please go ahead to provide, but whatever you provide, you must be responsible. That's it. So the government doesn't care whether are you as a human providing it or are you using an AI to provide it. You as the bank must still be responsible, right? So that regulation covers it in that sense. But taking a step further, I was very involved in AI standards at one time, and then I stepped out a bit, but now I'm back again. I think AI standards will be one form of framework, another form of framework that more and more organizations, countries will adopt to sort of not necessarily regulate AI, but at least give users comfort that the AI systems have been developed to a certain level of international standards. They conform to best practices and so on and so forth. So the first AI standards from ISO 42001 has been launched. So Singapore have signed up for that. I was involved in the initial drafting of those many years ago. So yes, so this standards I feel is a little bit more prescriptive than if guidance or framework. If I say you must build responsible AI system, what does responsible AI system means or look like? It's very hard. But through a standard, it's very specific. It says that you must build responsible, trustworthy system. You must have this. You must consider this. So it's very prescriptive. So it's easier for engineers to actually follow. So that's my take. And another, and this didn't come from me. I attended. I had a discussion, and someone mentioned it. I thought, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Think of it this way. In a car, the reason why you can drive a car on the road and you can drive it fast is because you have brakes. It is because of brakes that give you the confidence that you can actually control the car and stop. Think about it. If there was no brakes, would you dare to drive very fast? You wouldn't. So because of regulations, because of standards and so on, then people will be actually, right, if it's done correctly, people will be incentivized to innovate because they know that there are certain boundaries. As long as they don't cross a boundary, it is fine, and they can innovate as fast as possible.
Thank you, sir. I think we've almost run out of time. Would you like to take one last question?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so the last question would be, I try to club several questions into one. How can policymakers effectively foster an AI-first mindset across public institutions while maintaining accountability and ethical oversight, especially in cultures like ours, where risk trading and innovation is not encouraged? And I would also like to add, what are common misconceptions about AI that we should be clear on?
Okay, so I there's a lot of questions in that single sentence, right? But I think ultimately it is everyone needs to be educated about AI, right? AI is really just a bunch of maths and science, right? There's no magic to it, and don't listen too much to all the YouTubers and so on to say, 300 million jobs will disappear, or AI will take over all the jobs, or you're going to create some AGI that will wipe out the whole human race. No, AI is just a tool. I'm an engineer. AI is a tool that can be used in a very productive manner. I think we should approach it that way. Yes, we have to be careful of certain job roles that may be impacted by AI, but then that's where the government can step in to support these people. But as a whole, I think as a country, we need to move ahead. Even countries like Nepal, you can bring in, I mean, obviously you can bring in the technology, but I think it's also important that you have a program, one. So you have to think of it like a pyramid, right? You must have broad base, you must have AI literacy for everyone. Then the next level is you must have professionals and so on who can use AI tools to be highly productive. And then you have your AI engineers, then you have your researchers. So it's a pyramid that I think every country needs to build. You cannot be a square, right? Where you have lots of PhDs and researchers and so on, right? It is invariably going to be a pyramid where there will be very, very smart people who are PhDs and professors, but they're going to be very few. But they will not dictate or drive the whole AI agenda, and should not be, right? They are important, but then we also must remember we need everyone, right? That's why we call our program AI for Everyone. And we actually trademarked that, even before Andrew Ng came up with his AI for Everyone program. So we have been calling our programs AI for Everyone since 2018. And really it's about getting as many people in Singapore to be educated, to know about AI as possible. So I think from a country's perspective, it is important that AI literacy should be the number one concern. And then how do you then build up your own AI capabilities as you go along, right? And there's no better way to train your own people than using real world projects. That's something that we are very adamant about. You have to use real world projects to train people. You cannot train real engineers with spreadsheet data that is synthetic or not real, or that's too clean, right? Yeah, so it needs to be there needs to be a form of apprenticeship or internship, so-called, to train real-world engineers that can be deployed into the industry immediately. I'm not sure whether this answered your question. I think there's a lot of things in there, but from a country's perspective, definitely you need the support. And you look at this picture that we have, right? AI Singapore. You need the support of both the government, the industry, and academia. I think this tripartite approach has worked very well for AI Singapore, where we have the strong government support to provide the funding to get the industry to accelerate the adoption and use of AI, and then bringing in the expertise from academia and so on, right, as consultants and as researchers, right, to seed some of these AI projects and solutions.
Thank you, sir. There were a lot of questions, but I think we have already exceeded our time limit. And I think Singapore is current. Yes.
Yeah, and if you have more questions, please. I'm online 24/7, 365 days a year. Just go to my AI First Nation website, and my chat bot is there.
Yeah.
I have made myself into an avatar, and it's virtual, and you can have a conversation with me and ask all sorts of questions. Assuming it works, and assuming Anthropic doesn't say that it's overloaded, which happens every now and then. So yeah, so you can continue to have that conversations. If not, you can summarize some of the key questions and send it over. I'm happy to answer it over email and then send it back to you, and you can share with the audience.
Thank you, sir. I was not expecting that. That's very creative of you. And I think Singapore is currently leading the AI innovation race right now. And I think a lot of countries have a lot to learn from Singapore. And I think somebody's showing appreciation to you in the chat box saying, love the analogy about cars and brakes. So before we conclude, if you have any concluding remarks, please.
No, I think really AI is, like I said, it's a tool. Everyone should get on board. You don't need to be a programmer to use AI. There are a lot, tools like ChatGPT, Gemini has made AI very accessible to everyone. Spend at least, right, minimally at least an hour to 3 hours learning how to use these tools correctly. Then you find that you are actually going to be highly, highly productive. So please take the first step to learn. And if you need more guidance, like I say, just go to aifirstnation.org. I've put my knowledge there in the form of a chatbot. That nothing to do with AI Singapore. I fund that website myself. I fund the API calls myself. So it's my little contribution to people who wants to learn more. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time. I would also like to thank everyone in the audience for their time. And I would highly recommend to get this book. I think you can get it on Amazon, AI First Nation. So I think we will conclude for now. Thank you, sir. I wish you a good evening.
Yeah, so there's no need to buy. You go to my website, you sign up for the mailing list, and you actually get the free PDF. So please, I am sharing this freely. Yeah.
Oh, okay, sir. I didn't know about that. I'll definitely give it a try.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good
Okay.
evening. Yes.
Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you so much, sir.